everybody. Welcome to the Saltwater Coast Information Session. It's great to see you today. We uh, we organise these information sessions so that it's an opportunity for owners to find out a bit more about the structure of the Owners Corporation, how the community works that they've brought into, and to meet your team at Quantum, who works hard, ongoing basis in the background with the QCMS on-site team and with the committee extensively during committee meetings, of course, all the documentation reporting we do, and in between meetings. So often new owners find these very valuable. So we do actually record these sessions so everyone's aware of that. And this will get placed up in the mobile app, the Saltwater app, so that as new owners come on board, or any owner, if they missed it, they can go back and watch this session and just recap and jump around through the video on the information they might like to cover. So I'll just introduce ourselves. I'm Michael Darby. I'm the founder and CEO of Quantum United Management. With me is Natalie, our operations manager, and Ramona. Nat, would you like to give us a bit of a short spiel about yourself?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Saltwater Coast Information Session. My name is Natalie Bianchini, and I am the Operations Manager here at Quantum United. I've been with Quantum now for probably about 7 months. I started as your client manager and have now moved into the Operations Manager role. But while I'm not your client manager anymore, I still will be working really closely with Ramona to deliver OC and community support to the Saltwater Coast community. My background is I've worked in master plan estate owners corporations, just like Saltwater Coasts, for nearly 20 years now. I've actually come from Century Lakes, which is your neighbour. So I'm quite familiar with the area, quite familiar with the requirements and the community requirements of Saltwater Coast. And I'm here to help out whenever you need me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nat. Ramona.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ramona Cuttager. I'm the client manager for this community. I've been in the Owners Corporation industry for just over 10 years now, so I've picked up on good ideas of what it takes to make communities run smoothly. I really enjoy working with committees to keep things on track. I've been part of the Saltwater Coast project for a few months now, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to help it grow and succeed. My main goal is to provide great service and support, making sure both the owners and committee feel confident and happy with how everything's going. I'm all about open communication, transparency, and working together as a team to keep things moving forward within the community.
Very good. Thanks, Ramona. Ramona's a bit nervous, so I should do a little script. That's okay. Ramona loves her numbers too. You didn't say that. You love your little finances. So
yes, I do. I do love financials.
There's those apart. She knows them backwards, so which is great for our community course. So thanks for joining us again. We'll get the presentation started. If you'd like to share that, Ramona. And before we do that, actually, just to let members know, there is a questions box at the bottom of your screen. You can enter a question at any time during the session, and we can answer those as we go. And there's also a Q&A section at the end where we can bring you in via audio, or we can answer any questions that haven't been responded to during the session. So, Ramona, if you could share your screen, and I can take us through the first few slides. You can ask a question. Thanks, Ramona. We might go to the next slide. So that's our information session. We run these every year before the AGM. Again, like we indicate, it's a really good opportunity for owners who might have some questions. It's a lot more relaxed environment. Spend a lot more time sort of going through the structure, going through what our role is. The AGM's very structured and it gets caught up in the legislation, and there's lots we need to go through. It's not very comforting as our feedback for owners. They don't feel comfortable asking questions. So this information session is an opportunity to do that. So we cover off a number of areas. We'll briefly talk about Quantum and our role as your manager. We'll talk about the structure of the community that you live in. We'll cover off on governance and compliance, and our big passion, hopefully you're aware, communication and community. The Saltwater Coast Lifestyle Centre operations we'll touch on. That's undertaken by Quantum CM Solutions, and time for more questions at the end. Thanks, Ramona. about Quantum. We'll cover off on all these areas, who we are, where we are, our achievements, your saltwater coast management team, and the services that we cover off. So a big part of the business that I had a big focus on probably 8 or 9 years ago now was really coming up with a set of values for the team. And that's essentially the DNA of the team. It's how they show up for work, how they interact with each other, and how we're interacting with our clients. And been a great process to work through and pull together. And the team's really on board with standing by those values. Whenever we're recruiting a new team member, we're also assess them against our values. Sometimes a person might have the skill set for a role, but if they don't align with those values, they're not successful in moving forward. The vision of our business, creating vibrant and connected communities that residents are proud to call home. That's the core of what we're about, and ties into all the services and the management that we provide. I started the company 19 years ago. We're managing over 17,000 lots now across 37 owners corporations within Victoria, and starting to consult now interstate as well. And obviously we're committed to excellence in serving our communities and committees. Ramona. This is just an overview. We've got projects all across suburban Melbourne, inner Melbourne, southeast, southwest, and in the north, which is exciting. Again, we specialise in these master plan communities. Actually, like Natalie, I was an employee at St. Lakes before I left there to start my own business. So all I've done is master plan communities. It's a very different management approach, managing a building, sort of townhouses, compared to managing a large master plan community. There's a lot more engagement and accountability and transparency that's required with owners. And that sense of community is really critical. That's a reason that residents tell us that they buy into these communities. They like that sense of community. So events and activities is a massive driver for our team and for the team on the ground as well. Just some round buttons and medals and awards. We're really proud of the awards that we've won, and one of those was last year, being finalist in the Large Business Management Award. And also proud I was invited to join a board in the US that oversees the International Community Manager Certification Program, the CAM ICB board, and we oversee and administer the CMCA exam, and it's all about raising the benchmark of management across the world. So it's been on that for a year now, and it's exciting, some of the work we've got coming up over the next couple of years. Thanks, Ramona. Your saltwater team, myself, Thurunga, who's not joining us, is on well-deserved leave, though we all look forward to him coming back on Monday. He's our general manager. He's been with our company for a number of years and worked his way up into this position. And as we mentioned, Natalie's our operations manager. And your active owners corporation management team, as we said, led by Ramona. VJ is the assistant client manager, and the amazing Trish leads our community presentation team of about 6 or 7 people, I think, and Pragya is her assistant. And they've got a really critical role of overseeing the presentation of your communities through the audits that we do on site, in ensuring that owners comply with the guidelines they brought into. And goodness me, it's a challenging role for these guys. All the owners who we speak to, that's what they like. It's a big part of what they enjoy in the community, that they drive into their community, and it's just different to a neighbouring estate. It's different to where they used to live. You get a smile on your face when you're driving through the streets, because that's the reason you brought in there, and you have an expectation that your neighbours will do the same. But unfortunately, everyone doesn't consciously choose to do that. There is some who don't do that, and perhaps they're mostly tenants. But we need to engage with them on your behalf so that we can ensure as best we can they're doing the right thing and maintaining their properties. And we cover that in more detail, but that's what Trish does in leading her team. I think I might hand to you, Nat. Do you want to take us through the next few slides?
Yep, thanks, Michael. So the next few slides, we're just going to give you a bit of an overview as your manager, what we provide, what services we provide for your owners corporation. And those services include your accounting services. So we manage, as your manager, we take care of your owners corporation's bank accounts, both your day-to-day operations accounts, and then any investment accounts that you might have as well. We keep books of accounts covering all income and expenditure. We prepare interim and annual financial statements. So we keep your committee in the loop of how your finances are tracking against budget, and just making sure that any necessary audits are taken out as per the Owners Corporation Act.
I might just jump in there
Yep.
if I can. I think a really important project that we're speaking at the committee meeting that I was at last is to, the project's getting to a mature state position now, and the community has, is in a strong financial position, but we just want to do some projections for the next 3 years to really understand where are we going to be positioned over the next 1, 2 to 3 years. What are our costs going to be like? What's our revenue going to be like? So we can manage the funds that the Owners Corporation has, so we can start to forecast and endeavour to understand what the fees are going to be over the coming years. So that's a project. There's going to be a special working group set up to do that financial projection with the new committee for the next 3 years. That's something we're looking forward to really investing in helping them work through.
Yeah, Michael, and that ties in a bit with our, we work really closely with the committees reviewing financials and expenses and putting together the budgets for your administration fee and the maintenance fund for the upcoming year, which we all get to vote on at the annual general meeting, which will be happening next week. So on behalf of the Owners Corporation, Quantum issues all the fees. So we issue the fee notice, the final fee notice, and then any special fee notices on behalf of the Owners Corporation, and they're all in line with the Owners Corporation Act. And recovering of outstanding fees, which is a big one, which we'll go into in a little bit more detail later in this presentation. Another really important aspect of our role is your insurance. So we work really closely with the authorised licenses for your common property and with your broker, and they go to market, test the market. We work closely with them when we're reviewing renewals. We're setting up insurances for new Owners Corporation estates, and we help out with assisting with the claims process as well.
And just some context with that, Nat, obviously your common property is the land that the leisure centre sits on. So that land's owned collectively by all the landowners. So that building needs to be insured to ensure that you're covered if there's an incident, and that's a requirement under the legislation that happens.
Yeah, and another requirement under the legislation is the Owners Corporation register. So your Owners Corporation is required to keep a register, which Quantum United will do on behalf of the Owners Corporation and manage. And that register includes things like the owners' names and addresses, your insurance policies, any licenses and agreements that your Owners Corporation might be a part of, and any contracts they're a member of as well. So they're pretty important things that we do too. And of course, keeping records of your Owners Corporation minutes, so committee meeting minutes, we have any annual general meeting minutes, fee notices, final fee notices, special notices, and of course, any ballots as well.
And maybe just touching on the Owners Corporation certificates a bit more, Nat. So whenever somebody buys into Saltwater Coast, part of the sale of Land Act, they're required to get an Owners Corporation certificate that goes in the Section 32, and that's a requirement under law, and that lets the purchasers know, hey, you're part of an Owners Corporation, here's the fees you're required to pay, here's the details of the insurance policy, here's the details of the manager, here's the last AGM minutes, here's the details about any special meetings that have been held, or any special levies that have been struck. It's got all the required information that's required under the legislation that we need to prepare to provide to purchasers solicitors or conveyancers or people who are selling their blocks of land, and that ensures that everyone's fully aware of what they're buying into and fully aware about the owner's corporation structure they're buying into.
Yep. Thanks, Ramona. So your owners corporation manager services also include meetings. So not only is it not only do we put together your agendas for any upcoming committee meetings or annual general meetings, we also work closely with your owners corporation and we attend the meetings and help guide those meetings and your committees to ensure that we're complying with the Owners Corporation Act, and we prepare and issue meeting minutes as well. And the meeting minutes for Saltwater Coast can be found on the community app as well. And guidance, we're also here to provide guidance to the Owners Corporation, helping them understand their roles and responsibilities. So obviously the legislation is quite detailed in what your Owners Corporation as lot owners and of course your Owners Corporation committee can and can't do, and we just are here to help guide anyone who needs some guidance and work really closely with the Owners Corporation to make sure we are keeping up to date with the legislation as well. Ramona? So I touched on a little bit before, one of the big things that Quantum United is we have a really streamlined system when it comes to our debt recovery process. And as you can see on the screen, it goes into detail what that process includes. So we issue our fee notice, which is required under the legislation. 30 days after that fee notice, we send a courtesy SMS reminder. So any resident who hasn't paid their fees within the 30 days, we will send them a reminder. Then we issue the final fee notice 7 days after that. And then the debt collection process starts. So from there, Quantum United will issue a debt recovery letter. Following that, we'll issue a legal debt letter. And then following that, the letter is referred to legal. So what that means is if we haven't been able to make any sort of contact or payment arrangements or have payment made by that lot owner, the file is then referred to legal, and then legal will start their process, and that can include a letter of demand from the lawyers, which could then end up in the magistrate's court for an order and a ruling on the outstanding fees.
And I guess, Nat, just adding to this, what's not captured is the team's had a lot of time on the phone and via email working with owners. You know, we're not just about sending them notices and chasing them for their money. There's a lot of phone calls. You know, it's quite challenging at the moment to work through this process. As you can appreciate, a lot of owners are experiencing financial hardship, as we all know. So we liaise with them, we work with them, we work together with them to reach a payment plan so that there's an agreement with them where they're making a commitment that we're recognising that they perhaps can't pay what's due at the moment, but they're going to go into a payment plan to gradually recover that money. So that's something we spend a lot of time doing, that just ensures that there is options for people who can, you know, clearly and reasonably demonstrate the situation they're in so that they have a payment plan option. So that's something that we do spend a lot of time working through.
Okay, so I'm going to handle the next few slides now. So what we're going to be talking about now is basically what is an owner's corporation and lot owners' obligations. So okay. Oh,
I can just talk to this one, perhaps Ramona as well. We just want to go back one. So
yeah.
we do get a lot of questions about, you know, who's responsible for the park. It hasn't been cut for weeks. It's getting really long. Who's responsible for the wetlands? So we do engage with owners a lot around that. And most people are aware, but if you're not, or perhaps if you're new, all the parks within saltwater are the responsibility of council. So they're not common property. They're not the owners' corporation. Council oversees the maintenance and management of that. That's part of your council rates that cover that. They're responsible for all streetscapes and road reserves. They're responsible for construction sites where lots are under construction. And Melbourne Water's the authority for wetlands within the community, and Parks Victoria for the coastal park that you'd be aware of. We've just got an image there, Snap, Send, Solve. It's a great function, and we promote it to all of our communities, and it's an opportunity for the residents to utilise that app where they can just click a photo and it goes straight through to council or the relevant authority, and that creates a ticket, so you know it's going to be followed up and responded to. I've used it a lot myself around my home, and our compliance team also helps out in that regard if we need to, and also submits some applications to SnapSend solves. It is well worthwhile if you're seeing some areas that feel aren't being addressed by council. We strongly recommend you download that app and lodge a ticket through them. Sorry, Ramon, I stole that slide from you. I'll let you keep going.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so what is an owner's corporation? So an owner's corporation is automatically established when a plan of subdivision that includes common property is officially registered with land titles. This
I'll just
process
move that slide,
creates...
Ramona. Sorry, we'll
Sorry?
go forward a couple.
Okay,
And next
thank
one.
you for that. No, it's this one. It should be this one now.
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. Okay. This process creates a legal entity that consolidates all lot owners within the subdivision into a unified body. Upon registration, every property owner within the subdivision automatically becomes a member of the owners corporation. Now, that's whether you are one of the original purchasers, and then obviously if you then sell your property later on, the person that purchases the property from you then becomes obviously a member of the owners corporation. The primary responsibility of the owners corporation is to manage and maintain the common property, which may include shared areas, such as in this situation, we've obviously got the lifestyle centre. In addition to this, the owners corporation is empowered to create and enforce rules that govern the use and maintenance of both the common property and the individual lots within the subdivision. These rules are not only binding on all members of the owners corporation, but also extend to tenants occupying those properties, ensuring consistency in how the community operates and interacts. All regulations and procedures established by the owners corporation are governed by the Owners Corporation Act, which sets forth the legal framework within which the corporation operates. This legislation outlines the rights, obligations, and duties of all lot owners, ensuring that they comply with specific standards and practices related to governance and management of the subdivision. Consequently, all lot owners must adhere to these statutory requirements to maintain the integrity, functionality, and harmony of the community.
So it's all about community, but what holds it together? You need a legal framework, and that's the boring part, but it is the part that, some people have an interest in. So it's important just to share a bit of that structure so that people are aware if they have an interest.
Now we're going to just have a chat about the lot owners' obligations. So at each AGM, the Owners Corporation must approve an annual budget that covers operational costs, including admin, utilities, insurance, and maintenance of common areas. This ensures financial planning for the year and transparency in how funds are allocated. Lot owners are also required to pay their proportionate share of the budgeted expenses incurred in the administration, operation, and the management of the Owners Corporation. This includes costs associated with the maintenance and upkeep of common property and other operational expenditures essential to the corporation's functionality, similar to like your insurances and things like that. Lot owners must comply with the provisions outlined in the Owners Corporation legislation, as well as any rules and regulations established by the OC. These guidelines govern the use and management of common property, as well as conducting of the owners and tenants, ensuring a well-regulated and harmonious community.
Ideally, we don't want to enforce rules, but they are there to set that framework so that if owners or tenants indeed aren't complying with those rules, which helps create that amenity in that environment within saltwater, then one of our less enjoyable roles is to play the person who enforces the rules, which is not pleasant, but the team's trained in how to go about that the right way with owners, and we do our best to do that.
Thanks, Mike. Governance and compliance. Okay, so we're going to have a chat about the annual general meeting, committee operations, and compliance management here. So the Owners Corporation is legally required to hold an annual general meeting each year to ensure transparency, accountability, and proper management of the property. The AGM provides an opportunity for all owners to review the financial status of the OC, discuss any significant issues or concerns, make decisions about the management of the property. During this AGM, key reports such as financial statements, budgets, and updates on repairs or maintenance projects are presented. It also serves as a platform for owners to raise questions and suggestions, ensuring the OC operates in the best interest of all residents. Failing to hold an AGM can lead to legal consequences and essentially affect the smooth running of the owners corporation. Also, the AGM is essential to an owners corporation, and it is sort of that, that one day a year. Although we have committee meetings throughout the year, it's that one day a year where all the owners can get together and talk things through and work through any issues that arise throughout the year.
Look, and owners might not be surprised to know that not everyone comes to the AGM. A lot of people find that they might best be more excited doing other things, and that's okay. I think, if nothing else, there's lots of documentation that's attached with the AGM information. So have a read through it. We prepare manager reports that gives you an overview of what's been going on and what's our role, and there's lots of other, the financial information is in there. So if you can't make it, read through the information, and further to that, the minutes of the AGM are kept and they're circulated and made available to all the owners. So again, if you can't make it, read through the minutes. It's a bit more easier process, and you can get a good idea of what was covered off at the annual general meeting. We will provide a summary as well after that AGM that we circulate to everyone also.
Thanks, Michael. At the AGM, members of the Owners Corporation are required to vote on various motions that impact the operation and management of the property. These motions may cover a wide range of topics, such as approving the annual budget, electing committee members, authorising repairs or upgrades to common areas, or making changes to internal rules. Each member's votes help determine the direction of the Owners Corporation for the upcoming year. Voting ensures that decisions are made democratically and with the input of all owners, providing a fair process for managing the property. For certain decisions, a majority or a special resolution may be required to pass the motion. Now, as Nat was saying earlier, our next AGM is next Thursday, the 20th of February, and it's at 6:30. It's going to be held at the Saltwater Coast Lifestyle Centre, so in the function room there. So we do hope that as many owners can join as possible, because it is a great opportunity to, voice any concerns that you have or anything else that needs to be spoken about. So please do join the AGM that we've got next week.
And maybe just as a reminder, because I don't think we touched on it within all this information, as it's outlined in the AGM notice and within the legislation, if owners do have fees and arrears, they're not able to vote at the AGM. That's what the legislation has states that we need to comply with. So if you're able to attend, you can attend, but you're just not able to vote on any of the decisions that are being put forward.
Thanks, Michael. At the AGM, the Owners Corporation presents the financial statements for the previous financial year. These statements include a detailed breakdown of income, expenses, and any other financial activities. They give the owners a clear picture of the OC's financial health and show how funds have been allocated and spent over the past year. The financial statements help ensure transparency, allowing owners to review how well the budget was managed, whether funds were used appropriately, and if any financial issues need addressing. These reports typically include balance sheet, income statements, and cash flow summaries, often accompanied by an auditor's report if required, which a property, an owner's corporation of this size does require the financials to be audited as per the Owners Corporation Act. So the budget for the new financial year, the Owners Corporation also presents the budget for the upcoming financial year at the AGM. This is probably the most important part of the AGM. It's obviously what sets up your fees for the next financial year. The budget outlines the estimated income and anticipated expenses for the year ahead. It covers both operational costs, which is normally your administration fund, and then any capital expenditure, which is your maintenance fund. The budget helps owners understand how their fees will be spent and ensures that there are adequate funds to meet the OC's obligations and maintain the property. Owners are given the opportunity to review, ask questions, and approve the budget, providing a clear financial framework for the upcoming year.
And just on that, so we convene a special budget meeting with the committee. We had that recently. So we spend our office a lot of time pulling together a draft budget just to get the committee started. And we spent a lot of time working through that, going through line by line, made some updates and changes, and that draft has been circulated, and you'll have a copy of that. If you didn't get your AGM documents, reach out to us. Our contact information for you is obviously incorrect, and we can fix that. But the committee did spend a lot of time working through that budget, and that's going to be tabled for you at the AGM.
Thanks, Michael. The election of the committee is another key agenda item during the AGM. The committee plays an essential role in managing the day-to-day operations of the Owners Corporation, making decisions on behalf of all of the owners between AGMs. A minimum of 3 members is required to form a committee, although the number can be higher depending on the size of the property or the complexities of the issues involved.
There is our esteemed committee member, Dominic, who's been on the committee for a number of years. Thank you for joining us, Dominic. He's just reminded us that he has had questions from residents in Saltwater Coast who are tenants. There is a number of properties that are tenanted. So an AGM is for members of the Owners Corporation, and tenants are not a member. That the lot owner is the member of the Owners Corporation, so tenants aren't able to attend. Owners can appoint a proxy, and it may well be the case that an owner can appoint their tenant as the proxy. In that case, they'll be able to come and represent an owner and conduct discussion and vote on matters. But look, tenants still can get access to the mobile app. They can still get access to information. They are a resident in the community. They need to know what's going on. They need to connect with the community and participate in the event. So all the information, they can get the newsletter and access the app, so they can get access to all that information. So they just don't have the ability to participate in the decision making. Thanks for that, Thanks, Dominic. And just a heads up, we might cross to you if you're open to it after we finish this slide, and maybe have a quick chat about some of the projects the committee's been working on. I know you spent a lot of time on one of them and what's coming up. So if you're happy to get brought in, I'll do that after this slide.
Perfect. Okay, so our current committee members are Andrew Last, Dominic Moss, who's watching the presentation as we speak. We've got Gina Camalotti, Michael Glover, Harry Giannakis, who's our chairperson for the Owners Corporation, Courtney DeFree, and Maxim Lushko. So they're our current committee members. Now, committees are elected at each AGM. So whether these committee members will want to remain on the committee, they obviously have that option, but then there's also the option for new committee members to come on board as well. So there is a maximum of 7 committee members allowed. However, that can be increased to 12 if required. And we obviously would love to have more people coming onto the committee to help, to support the needs of the Owners Corporation and help out with the decisions that need to be made.
So if anyone is interested, reach out to Ramona or VJ in the office. We can send you a committee nomination form, or obviously you're welcome to just attend on the night, or you can give us a call and we can have a chat to you about what the expectations are. I think it's 4 or 5 meetings a year. It's not too many of an evening. So if you want to have a talk about what those meetings are like and how often they are and when they're normally held, just give us a call. We can chat to you about that and give you some information to help you with your decision. But it's always great to have some ongoing members from the past committee, and it's always open to new members to bring fresh ideas and contribute to the future of the community that you're invested in and you live in.
Thanks, Michael. As a member of the Owners Corporation Committee, you'll be expected to actively contribute to the smooth operation and management of the community. This includes seeking guidance from the instructing manager, which in this situation is myself, on key decisions to ensure everything runs efficiently. Financial management is crucial responsibility, where you'll help oversee budgets, ensure proper allocation of funds, and enforce rules to maintain order and fairness across the Owners Corporation community. Regular attendance at committee meetings is essential to stay up to date on ongoing projects, review financials, and discuss important matters within fellow committee members. Additionally, handling complaints effectively is a key part of your role. By listening to residents' concerns, investigating issues, and taking appropriate action, you'll help foster a positive living environment and ensure the well-being of the entire community. Together, these responsibilities are vital to keeping the Owners Corporation operating smoothly and in the best interests of all residents.
That's great. And also, just on that, Quantum's actually just started a vodcast called Quantum Conversations, and we recently interviewed, I think it nearly went for an hour, so we're going to cut that into 2 sessions, a long-standing chairperson and a committee member with extensive knowledge of the Owners Corporation Act and operations, who's been on the committee at one of our other projects. He sat down, we had a session with him. It was a really very informative perspective from his perspective around committees, how important they are, what's to be expected, how critical the relationship between the manager and the committee is. So reach out to us if you want to get an early release of that, but that's coming out and be circulated via our socials very soon. So always looking at ways to educate and provide value to our residents and communities, and this has been really a fun and great tool to be able to do that. We might bring in Dominic. Dominic, there's been lots of projects that we've worked on. We don't want to take up too much time, but I know you've been involved with a couple there, a couple that you wanted to talk about that the committee spent a lot of time working on over the last sort of 3, 6, 12 months.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. I've been involved in a couple of largish projects. Most recently, the solar project. So obviously that was, I don't know if my video is on. I'm sorry if it probably isn't, but anyway.
Just audio, yeah.
All good. The most recent big one we've done is the solar, which was a huge, almost $100,000 project, but already reaping the benefits of that, which is great. There've been a lot of other projects around keeping the centre up and running. And I really appreciate all the work that Quantum are doing to assist us on the committee to do the projects. There's some big things coming up with around what's going to be happening with the space downstairs, what we're going to be doing with that. Some potential renovations coming up. Obviously, the financial planning stability for the next few years. So there's a few small subcommittees that get involved with it. But if anybody is keen on joining the committee, that's really awesome. You don't have to have a financial background. You don't have to be a rocket scientist when it comes to project management or anything. That's what Quantum do. They give us the information, and we're just normal residents that take that information and as fellow residents of Saltwater are able to, as a committee, make decisions that largely affect the centre going forward. So it's really great to have new people on board, fresh ideas. And I encourage anybody that's keen just to reach out and come to the AGM, and we'll take it from there.
Good on you. Great, Dominic. Look, I know that solar work was, as extensive, wasn't it? The consultants and all the research, you spent a lot of time on it with the working group. So well done on that project. I know you invested in that, probably a little less invested in the pickleball court. That's okay, but that's coming up shortly.
Yep.
We're going to get that. That was raised by a couple of residents and worked through at the committee level, and that's been adopted and agreed to. So those works are starting, imminent in the next few weeks. Pickleball will be able to be played at the tennis court. And Dominic, I've got to ask, when can we see the elephants, do you think?
Sorry, that's been actually forefront of my mind of late, and literally just got back from the zoo now. So I can't give away too much information other than they're all at Werribee, and they're all safe and sound. They're all out. They've all been out for a swim, and everything's good. But I think you could probably have picked that up from the news. I think all I am allowed to say is to keep an eye on the news, and towards the end of March, I think it'll be members first. The members of the Zoos Victoria will be allowed to see the elephants first, and then after that, open to the general public. But I can't give you the exact date yet.
No problem. Good on you. A good plug for your membership. Well done, Dominic. Thank you. I couldn't let it go without.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to have a chat about the community presentation. So Michael touched on this before. This is where Trish comes into it. So this is all about, they drive around, they basically drive around the estate and look at basically anything that's not correct. And we make sure that it gets rectified. So we'll cover off on that now. So we aim to foster an aesthetically pleasing environment throughout the neighbourhood with well-maintained properties and streetscapes. This not only enhances the overall appeal of the area, but also contributes to a sense of pride among owners and residents. Our goal is to establish clear, consistent standards for housing and landscaping across the property or the Owners Corporation by ensuring that all homes and outdoor areas meet a certain level of quality. We create a cohesive neighbourhood that reflects well on the community as a whole. This consistency helps avoid discrepancies between properties and ensures that all residents contribute to the neighbourhood's visual and environmental appeal. It is important that all property owners are equally invested in maintaining a strong, positive neighbourhood character. By encouraging everyone to adhere to the established rules and standards, we create a balanced community where each individual contributes to the overall aesthetic and atmosphere. Maintaining high standards of property presentation and upkeep help protect the value of each owner's investment. A well-maintained neighbourhood is more likely to retain or increase in value, whereas neglect can lead to deterioration and lower property values. So this outlines basically the compliance process that Trish goes through. So what we've got here is it's just a courtesy letter with 14-day notice to rectify once something's been noted. After that, if it hasn't been rectified, then a letter of demand with a further 14 days to rectify. After that, if it still hasn't been attended to, that's when we need to go to the Section 152 from the Owners Corporation Act and do what's called a grievance meeting, which is normally held with the committee members. So the elected committee members and the person that we've obviously got the grievance with in this situation, that's what that will be. The next part after that, if it's then still not resolved, is we've got the Section 155, the notice to rectify the breach, which provides that person 28 days to rectify. If at that point it is still not rectified, what will then happen is a final notice to rectify breach, which provides a further 28 days notice. And then the final step after that is VCAT. It does seem like a lot of steps of notice to rectify, but we do have to provide as much time for people to obviously to rectify the situation that it is before we can process it to VCAT, because it is, you want to give people as much time as possible to rectify something that we've got a problem with, rather than just forcing them into a VCAT situation straight away. So that's why it is quite an extended process, which the committee does have an involvement in as well.
Look, and it's similar to the arrears, Ramona, isn't it? That the compliance team led by Trish and Praga spent a lot of time on the phone with people, talking them through. And look, goodness me, Trish gets probably nearly most of 5-star reviews in our whole team. She's just got the magic touch. I don't know what it is, the secret sauce, might tell us, but she's really able to connect. She's very compassionate with owners when they call in, and she lets them voice their concerns, and we educate them and understand and explain to them why the rules are in place and why it's important for owners to adhere to the rules they brought into. It's a community effort for the benefit of everyone, and nearly all occasions, sort of Trish and her team win them over. It might take us an hour more on the phone. It takes a lot of time to do that, but we'd much rather work through a resolution, through a conversation, rather than to issue these notices that have got lots of numbers that I don't understand. But let's keep going.
Yeah. Speaking to what Michael's just talking about now, is these are the stats that we've got for the last financial year, being the 1st of November 2023 to the 31st of October. So what we've got here, inspections carried out was 22,172. We've got the presentation matters resolved was 1,583. And the ones that were actually open was 1,748. So from a total of 1,748, we resolved 1,583, which is just amazing. I've done the maths before, and it's 90.5%.
Trust you to do the numbers, Ramona.
There's numbers, yeah.
Well, the maths never lies. And that is an amazing result to have. I've worked with many owners corporations, and to have that high of a turnaround for matters that are open versus matters that are resolved, it's unheard of, because dispute resolutions are probably one of the slowest things in owners corporations to actually resolve. And it's a testament to Trish that those numbers speak truly to obviously how hard her and her team work. So she's amazing at what she does. So as I was just sort of saying before, so strong progress. So, that's just skipped by accident. Sorry about that. So this shows an impressive resolution rate of 90.5%. This is a direct result of the proactive and dedicated efforts from our community presentation team, who have been working hard to address and resolve non-compliance matters swiftly. Their commitment ensures that they're continuously improving the community and maintaining a high standard of living for everyone. It's clear that our team's approach is not only effective, but also demonstrates a deep commitment to maintaining the community's overall quality and harmony. The outstanding resolution rate of 90.5% also highlights the power of effective collaboration. By working closely together, we've been able to build strong lines of communication and ensure that any issues are dealt with quickly and efficiently. This collaborative spirit has been key in helping us maintain a well-managed, compliant community where everyone can enjoy a peaceful and well-kept environment. It shows that when we all work together, we can achieve great things and keep the community running smoothly.
So if you see them out there driving around the state, say hello and be nice to them. They're doing the job for your community. And look, as part of that, our focus and investment on community presentation, we actually engaged a developer who's designed and built our own QCheck community compliance software program. It really just makes the whole process as efficient and effective as we can. So always looking and innovating to get the right tools to make sure we can carry out these services as seamless as we can, get the best results as quick as we can for residents.
Okay, thanks. So now I'm just going to throw it back over to Nat so she can go through the next few slides with you guys.
Thanks, Ramona. As Michael said earlier in the presentation, one of our key focuses at Quantum is communication. And, my experience working in master plan estates and working closely with the community and lot owners and committees and boards, one of the biggest feedbacks we had was communication. Like anything, we all just we want to know what's going on. We want to know how our money's being spent. We want to know important updates of the local areas and the community. So one thing we really are focused on is communication, and we'll go into a little bit more detail at the next few slides, Ramona. So Quantum, we use a number of different platforms to communicate with residents and lot owners, and those platforms are the community app. The community app's an awesome way to stay in touch. It gives instant updates, it gives instant notification, and it's just a great way to keep up with all the latest news events that are happening in Saltwater Coast. We also have the app gives you access to lots of different documents, forms, club information, and guidelines for things like inductions, all in the one place. So if you haven't downloaded the app, I really suggest that you do so. Like I said, it's a great way to keep up to date and informed of what's happening in your area. We also send out regular e-bulletins and newsletters. So once a month, you'll get an email from the Quantum team with any updates happening in the community, any important news. And you will also see a newsletter that's issued from QCMS, which Michael will go into a bit more detail later in the presentation. Again, another great way to stay up to date with any community events, latest projects, activities that are happening around the club, the leisure centre, and again, a great way to stay connected and just informed on what's happening in the area. Something that's unique to Quantum is the Manager's Report. The Manager's Report is a comprehensive summary of ongoing projects, financial updates, community highlights, and we share these reports with your Owners Corporation Committee. and at the Owners Corporation Committee where Quantum is present, we talk to the report. We can address any queries that may come up, and just keeping that transparency and those lines of communication open. Thanks, Verena. And other platforms that we communicate with lot owners and the community is obviously email correspondence. It's where we'll send if you're any reports and updates to keep up to date of owners and committees in the loop. It's a great way to make sure everyone's well informed and up to date. Committee education's a big one. We're always here to provide support, guidance, not just to your Owners Corporation Committee, but also to the lot owners as well. We have we've got a great resource of workshops that we can work with our Owners Corporation committees with. We have lots of committee education resources, so if there's ever anything that you're interested or need some guidance of, just reach out to Ramona and myself and VJ, and we can point you in the right direction there. Information sessions, where you can see live happening in real time. It's our way to say hello, so you get to know us, and hopefully we get to know a little bit about you. And also, just it's a chance for anyone to ask questions, and we can discuss any important topics that impact, the whole community.
And we do often rotate between in person and online. Just these online opportunities are a really good way that we can record it and make that available for all owners after the fact. So it's really helpful in that situation.
And on-site notices. So if you've been into the leisure centre, can't say that word, leisure centre, you may have noticed that there are lots of updates printed and displayed around the centre. And if you are in the centre and it's something that you're interested in, there's something that you want to know about that might not have any updates around the centre, the team on the ground are awesome. And if they don't have the answer, they can reach out to us as well. Thanks, Ramona. We talk about communication, but we also, a big thing for Quantum as well is community and building communities and working with communities. And, Saltwater Coast is quite a family orientated community. There's lots of young families there, and we do work really closely with our events team, and we put on some of the events that you can see on your screen now, and it just gives a bit of a breakdown and an idea of how many residents we have registered for those events and what kind of events we have each year. So those events are communicated, like I said, through our community app, newsletters. There's information that's often displayed around the centre as well. Again, anything that if you have any suggestions on anything that we could possibly do in the future, reach out to Ramona and the team, and we can work with you to see if that's something that we can introduce.
And look, there's an absolute commitment from us at Quantum around community. We've got a dedicated person in the office, Kylie, who focuses on what that calendar event might look like and the ideas to give to the committee, and then driving those events as well. So look, and further to that, again, we struggled to get the right booking platform that was doing all the things that we needed to. So we just threw an investment, and we've also designed our own booking platform that we launched in December last year called QBook, and that now handles all of our event bookings for residents. They can pay online through the app, they can attend, they get feedback, they scan the QR code, I think, when they arrive. So it's really great way to track attendances, seek feedback, and it's a seamless way for owners to book for their community events as well. So that's Kyle has a great effort, as well as the rest of the team, in planning and pulling those events together. And it's about it's all about connecting residents with each other, activating the club, the lifestyle centre, that the community owns and is a part of, bringing residents into the lifestyle centre, connecting residents with similar interests inside that club, and that's the ultimate outcome that we're striving for, that really helps create a special place to live in. Lifestyle Centre operations, I'm on a roll here, Quantum SEAM Solutions. So there's the gun team that leads Quantum SEAM Solutions, the Red Shirt Brigade. So Trev's a legend all the way from Canada, and he leads a great team on the ground. Make sure you say hello to him when you're in the club. He does the Monday to Friday 9 to 5 shift, and Scott's also a gun doing his assistant manager that does the full-time evening shift, and Wyatt does the, I'm not going to say graveyard, but the 5 a.m. to I think 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Look, they're an awesome team, and the casuals they got around them, they're really passionate about the place and doing a great job. And that's the key thing that we're looking for. And Cam's the club's coordinator, oversees all our clubs, and brings a lot of experience to the QCMS team. And he's recently joined us sort of middle late last year, and he's already proving himself really valuable for the QCMS team. So the key role of the club, so the Owners Corporation engages Quantum CM Solutions to have a team on the ground, look after your club for you, interact with residents, engage with them, answer questions, run the inductions for new residents who haven't been inducted yet. It's an obvious requirement for safety and security and other things that members are inducted before they use the lifestyle centre. So our team will organise those inductions. They look after the maintenance of the lifestyle centre, liaising with contractors. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, seeking out quotes. It's like pulling teeth to get quotes from some of our contractors these days and get them to do the work. But the guys work really close with Quantum United management. And that's a really critical relationship between the on-site team and the OC management team. And there's a great synergy that really helps set both teams up for success and get the best outcomes for you. So that maintenance component is important. The pool plant's their best friend. It's obviously critical. The pool operation is a big part of it at Saltwater. And you just need to ask our esteemed chairperson, Harry, about the gym. He'll tell you how good the gym is. They had a new bunch of equipment that's recently been installed. It's a really probably the most popular area across the whole year within the lifestyle centre. So the team on the ground is, again, a challenging role, but they need to ensure that for everybody's benefit, that residents using the club comply with the rules that are in place. And the overall presentation, which is incorporated through maintenance, is a big part of it. Residents, we're obviously proactively asking them to use the facility. Controlling the bookings is a big job, and we liaise with residents around that. The guys run the classes that are getting running, and we've got some great success with those classes. Really pushed to get those activated. I think it was maybe a year ago or more, and the committee has been on board, which is great, and hopefully you've been a part of that. Zumba is a massive hit, and yoga is a small price of $5 now that's involved. And as I say, for a price of a coffee, you can go and have a yoga class or Zumba, and there's always others, and especially school holiday programs that the team are working on. And again, that passion around creating vibrant and connected communities flows through to Quantum CM Solutions also, so that you've got a great place to enjoy. So that's the end of the information session. 7:31. Well done, team, on time. We covered a lot, guys. I know we covered a lot, but it is important people can jump in and jump around the various areas. It sits there available for all the owners down the track, especially new owners. So we hope you've enjoyed that. If there's any questions that have come through, Nat, that we haven't addressed during the presentation, let me know. But if there is any others from those attending, feel free to let us know. I can't see any yellow hands up. So thank you, everyone, for attending. I hope you've got some value from this information and maybe picked up a couple of things that you weren't aware of. Any questions, reach out to our team led by Ramona and VJ. They'll be happy to answer your inquiry. But thanks for joining us. Thanks, Nat and Ramona, for joining us and running the information session.
Thanks, Michael.
Enjoy your time in the community at the club, and hopefully we'll see you at the AGM. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.